relaxation. And as the relaxation moves through your mind and your body, if there are any tensions, it will flow right out and allow the deepest levels of your mind to open up so that you can know anything. And through the deepest levels of your mind, can I please speak directly with your soul, with your oversoul? Can I speak directly with Yolana's higher self now, please?
Yes, you may.
Why do higher dimensional beings get into war? I mean, like the Lyran Wars. Why would a higher dimensional being fight?
Okay. Okay. I'm seeing. I'm seeing there were the feline beings and the reptilian beings. And huh. Let me tune in. Could you ask one more time?
Yeah, why do these higher dimensional beings get into war?
Yes. I'm seeing that there is it's an initiation pathway. It's so they begin kind of like with Earth. All of these beings kind of began with a unity, like a consciousness that is completely whole and unified with the all. And as consciousness, I'm seeing inhabits an identity, as consciousness is kind of contorted into an identity. And as that consciousness identifies with that identity over time, there is a natural loss in the understanding of our infinite oneness. I'm seeing that with the Lyran Orion Wars, there were reptilian beings that I need to tune into these beings a little bit more.
Okay.
So the reptilian beings at a certain stage in their soul's journey, they were almost like initiated into a separation consciousness. They were they were asked at a certain point in their evolution whether they wanted to be a part of this specific ascensionary pathway where there is a loss of unity consciousness and a dissension that happens. And the reptilians were initiated into that pathway. They agreed or they chose it. And at that point, there was a certain point at which they descended in their consciousness. They lost connection to the central sun, almost just like the earth did. And that actually started like a rapid decline in their ability to remember that they could create resources infinitely. So it was
How
the
did,
reptilian race that kind of initiated the war.
oh, and how did they lose connection to their central sun? What happened to them?
Wow. It's a long, long time ago, almost like almost like what we are going to be going through here on Earth, or what we went through with the fall. The reptilians actually were like a highly evolved race. They inhabited a number of planets within the solar system that they belong to. And they also, I'm seeing that their planets also had that white light all around them. And then at a certain stage, they were presented with this invitation from these archangelic beings came, and they asked the reptilians if they wanted to go through this ascension pathway, if they wanted to be part of that evolutionary stream, that lineage. And their planet at that stage, their solar system, when they agreed to be part of that ascension pathway, I'm seeing that something rotated within their solar system. It's almost like they had a shift within their rotationary cycle, like um, that put their solar system at a different angle that would then cut off the direct stream of light from the central sun. So that actually shifted their entire destiny. Their pathway shifted from that point on.
Was so this was intentional because they were part of the ascension?
This was intentional, actually. This became intentional at that point. I'm like seeing trillions of years ago for their solar system to continue. They chose to be part of the ascension pathway, which would mean that they would enter a time of darkness. And to do that, they would have to be cut off from the direct line of sight of the central sun.
Wow. And you said this happened to humans as well?
This actually happens to humans as well.
When?
Yes, humans that choose to inhabit Gaia planets are volunteers of the ascension pathway. And the crazy freaking thing is that we're working with reptilians
Right. How,
on, yeah, we're actually working on the same team.
what? How?
Ah, yeah, so that's the fact. Okay, so what I'm seeing is that the partnership between reptilians and Lyrans started there. So when the reptilians agreed to descend their consciousness and get cut off from the central sun, they then joined the team of beings that works on this ascensionary pathway where beings almost can well where beings choose to enter this ascension pathway when they are getting ready to merge back with the overall source. So it's a very special pathway. The ascension pathway is one that allows being to almost like rejoin source, the beginning, the all.
Wow.
And it's a very special pathway that actually requires um, like a temporary dissension. That's when we have to create like the ultimate, like we have to create simulations that actually engineer this experience of literally being cut off from God and cut off from source in a way that higher dimension planets and beings cannot experience that.
Okay. Well, okay, so you said we're working with reptilians. So the reptilians
So the
know.
reptilians then made a pact. They started working with Lyrans because the Lyrans are highly, highly evolved beings, very close to source light. They work with archangelic beings. Like Lyrans are very evolved in that way. And Lyrans are actually responsible for creating Gaia planets. So the Gaia simulation and humans are actually a design of the Lyran lineage.
Oh, okay.
So Lyrans actually do create the humanoids that inhabit Gaia planets. And that's actually the reason for the Orion Lyran War.
What was the reason?
It was a simulation that they created together, actually, the war itself. This is insane. So I'm seeing like a headquarters, a special headquarters off of Lyra. Like they created a special headquarters that would create simulations, like these warring simulations, to then get these more highly evolved beings to descend their consciousness, to have war as part of their training,
Oh, wow.
and in order to bring this consciousness to ascensionary planets like Gaia planets that need the simulation to evolve in this way. So
Wow.
I'm seeing that the Lyran Orion wars and wars similar to that in our galaxy were actually simulations that we created for the ascensionary pathway.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So then do the reptilians know that they are helping us?
So I am seeing that when it comes to the actual reptilians that almost like sign these treaties and pacts, and there's like most of the reptilians are actually aware, like the higher, sorry, I should say the higher up
Okay.
reptilians, the leaders are very much aware that they are helping us with this ascension.
What about the lower down ones, the ones that are like working with people now, like here?
So I'm actually seeing that most of the higher ups know, but they need to, some of the reptilians needed their memories to be wiped in order to perform their jobs really well, so that they can really give their all to their role. Some of those reptilians that are working with leaders on Earth and with Earth now do not have that full scope of memory.
Do reptilians ever, okay, is it true? I don't know. Is it true that sometimes reptilians feed off of children and there's a trade going on where like certain government programs will capture children that they can and then
Yeah.
feed them to reptilians or do trades with them?
Yeah, so I'm seeing that yes, the short answer is yes. There are reptilians and there are other volunteer beings along with the reptilians that have formed a pact with Earth, with humans here on Earth, and the volunteers on Earth, actually. There are programs that have been set up from thousands of years ago, actually, where the program is essentially one that siphons lifeblood energy from children, but the bigger part, like it's not just children. So the program is basically to go completely against innocence, and it's almost
Okay.
like it harnesses that energy of innocence and turns it into fear.
That's interesting because that's similar to like pedophiles. They
That
harm or they because if they want to take the innocence. So
that's
it's similar.
exactly what it is. It's literally designed to take the innocence,
Oh, okay.
to
And what do they do
transmute
with
it, like a master alchemy of transmuting that innocence immediately into fear.
and what do they do with that? Then they feed off of it, I guess, right?
So what happens is actually a symbiotic process. So for the person, for the being that have has had their innocence taken away, they literally have been initiated onto a fear pathway where they have to now go through the darkness back
Oh,
into the light in
okay.
order to merge back with source. So it's almost like they have that innocence being taken from them. It's like they get cut from the light and they lose their connection to source. And then they now have to find their way back through the fear ascensionary pathway.
Okay.
And what was the question again?
Okay. Well, wow, I just have a million questions. So they, so this is true. So what do
Yes,
the humans, well, f first of all, where are their children still locked up being siphoned now?
yes, yes. So there are children. Oh, I see them. I mean, there are a lot of children. So I see many in Europe. So in Europe, I see there is this underground network, almost like a tunnel system, that houses the largest number of these children.
Can you see where it is?
Okay, let me see. Oh my God. I mean, I don't know if this is correct,
That's
but it
okay.
is literally just off of underground near Paris.
Okay.
So there, in Paris, there is an entrance way just off of Paris. Like there's water near Paris,
Uh-huh.
and underground there is the entrance of like a tunnel there.
Yeah, there is.
And I see that.
Like the catacombs or no?
Yeah, yes. It's connected to the catacomb system
Okay.
off of Paris. But that's also the same air entranceway is a passage to these trafficking tunnels. They
Oh,
go from Paris to Amsterdam to further east in Europe. And there's actually a little headquarters off of Amsterdam as well.
wow. And
So, yeah,
are there so there's humans or is it just extraterrestrial?
it's no, it's humans and extraterrestrial reptilians.
What do the
Uh,
humans get
yeah.
out of this?
Okay, so there are humans who what they get out of it is literally power in the 3D world. They get a lot. So there's humans working in these tunnels that are enslaving these children, and I see that their families are literally amongst the most powerful on earth. They have connections for generations and generations to come because they are helping reptilians organize these these underground trafficking systems. The children are literally enslaved. Now, what the reptilians see, the thing is that what the reptilians are getting out of this, see, we think they're actually siphoning our energy and using the fear,
Uh-huh.
but the reptilians are not getting anything out of this except they have volunteered to work alongside um, those beings who are in charge of the ascensionary simulation. So it's as if there are entities that are what it looks like siphoning the fear energy. But what I'm seeing is they're not really getting anything out of it themselves,
Wow.
except that they're sucking this fear energy, and I'm seeing like they're blobs and they're almost growing bigger.
Well, isn't that something if they're sucking the fear
Yeah, I
energy?
guess for them, it's nothing to do with a higher energy of joy and infinite bliss and love. They're literally just getting fat, like bigger, fatter.
Okay.
And it's like they're filling a hunger that they could never satiate.
Oh, interesting. Because they're disconnected from source. That makes sense.
Yes,
It's like a pedophile.
it's exactly like that. A pedophile is a good example of that energy.
Yeah, okay.
But
Wow.
the thing is that we see it as evil, like, oh my God, they're just enslaving. But they're not. They signed a pact to create this simulation. And it's
Wow.
almost like for them, it's a service.
Well, this is like a tough like thing to be a human or to be a human trapped. I mean, what about the children?
And that's yeah, see, that's the tricky part. With these children, what the okay, because it's coming into really tricky territory with morality and stuff.
Yeah, because they're like that's suffering for a child, losing their innocence and being in fear,
Yeah, I
taken
know.
away. Like,
But the weird thing is that these children have also signed contracts. Their families and the children, and they sign contracts from Lyra.
wow,
So a
okay.
lot of these children are actually Lyrans. They are like humanoids that were created in Lyra.
So it's
And
not really real almost.
well, wait, so that's a good question. The way you ask it, you're saying it's not really real almost.
Like, are these children actually children?
Let me tune into that a little bit more. So these children inhabit, they're actually Lyran's, like they're Lyran souls, and some of them are Orion, and there are souls from all over that choose to inhabit these these bodies, these human bodies, and the families of the children too. They choose to inhabit them literally so that their soul can go through the fear pathway into the ascension pathway.
Wow.
I know it sounds like almost crazy, but they are like when they are before incarnation, they are fully aware of what they are choosing to do, to
Wow,
go into
okay.
these enslaved bodies and lineages.
Wow, okay. So interesting. Okay. Um,
But the reason a lot of this information is now ready to come out, because this has been going on for thousands of years. Like I'm seeing like even like 35,000 years.
wow.
And they are all agreed to it. And the reason it's coming out now is because we don't need that fear pathway anymore.
Oh, well, then what happens with the children? Do they escape or do they get
So
returned?
what I'm seeing is that that pathway will still be available as an option here on Gaia. So for those who still want that that simulation is going to still be available as an option. Like, in a menu, that's still
Okay.
an option,
But
but it's
that's
no longer necessary
okay.
because now there's enough energy from the central sun that we're getting back. And the grid is now established at a higher frequency that it's not necessary to go through the fear pathway in that dark way anymore. We can do it through the light pathway.
Okay.
But there are still souls that may choose to come onto Gaia that choose that fear pathway. So that will still be available here for the next few generations.
Why would they do that? Is it quicker or like what benefit would they get?
Okay, you know why they do this? So, what I'm actually seeing, crazy enough, is that those souls that choose that contract to be in that trafficking fear pathway have like a much higher ascension. They have a much higher ascension that they can access having gone through that, even in one lifetime. They can now ascend in one lifetime, which would have taken lifetimes in the past, in their higher evolved planets.
Okay.
It's literally a fast track to ascension.
Wow. Okay. Who really are the different extraterrestrials? Are they us in a different timeline? Are they not us? Are they actually different?
Okay, it depends which ones we're talking about. So for example, like Lyrans are definitely us in a much more evolved. You could say they're like future timelines.
Okay.
Um, but time does not operate in that way. So when we say they're much more evolved from a future timeline, the true way of saying it is that they're from a cycle of time that we are evolving toward. It's
Okay.
like they're from a cycle that we're looping toward.
Well,
Our
then
timeline is, but for example, like Pleiadians, even though you can say Pleiadians are more evolved and then they come here, by the time they leave the Gaia ascensionary pathway, they're actually even more evolved than they used to be
okay.
because they can't reach that level of ascension. They couldn't reach it through their planetary systems. So it's like
So,
they had to it's like the Pleiades had to end. It's like their planets finished because they couldn't reach any more evolution there.
oh, I see. Why?
Because there was too much unity.
Oh, okay.
There was no more function. It's like there was no more expansion and growth opportunities. So
Oh,
they literally closed down their simulation and
right.
then they chose a Gaia planet to further ascend because Gaia planets are literally the place. It's the place where this kind of fast track ascension simulation can is compatible with Gaia.
Okay, so like I get that our souls having all these experiences, but who really are we as a human? Like what
Oh,
are
okay. Who we really are is from all over the multiverse. Okay. Yeah, like okay, I'll just say we are from all over the universe. Like I am literally seeing like hundreds of star systems. Our souls are sourced from all of them. And then we actually have to go into a humanoid simulation through Lyra so that we can become compatible with human bodies in order to inhabit Earth.
oh wow.
But we're literally from all over. Like, even there are some people on Earth that are not even from our universe.
Wow, where are they from? Just wherever?
I'm seeing it's just a small percentage, like 2 to 3%, because it's very unusual for a being from another universe to actually choose an ascensionary pathway because it's there's such different existences.
Why
But
did they do? Go ahead.
why they do it is because the ascensionary pathway is literally one where you can uh like it's hard to describe in words because the ascension pathway like literally puts you directly into the heart of God. It like brings you back into a kind of love and merging with the void with like this nothingness that is so attractive to many highly evolved beings.
Well, what happened? Okay, so like all right, so we go through the ascension pathway and then what? Like what really is God? I mean, who is
It's the
God?
void. It's nothingness.
Why is it so attractive and why is it so there's so much love? Like where does that come from? Where who like
It's that's what I'm finding a very challenging way to I'm finding it very challenging to express this because to the human mind and in the culture we've come from, This doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like, how could we want nothingness so badly?
Right.
And what I'm seeing is that we've been through so much experience, we've had so much bliss, joy, love, but there is a depth, there is something even deeper than that, and that is the void.
Okay.
The void is something indescribable. The void is beyond love. It's God itself. It's like the everything and the all, but beyond those words. It's like that's why highly, highly, highly evolved archangelic beings would choose to come into a Gaia planet just to go back into the void because they're ready, because they've experienced everything that creation could give them times infinity.
Why did Toth not go back into the void? Why does Toth act as the ascension keeper?
So if this is the weird thing, is that what I'm seeing, for example, Ilana, her oversoul is highly, highly evolved. And the reason that she has decided to volunteer for the last, I don't know, let's just say last few trillion years, she's been volunteering on Gaia planets so that she herself could take the ascensionary pathway, because
Oh,
she wants to go back into the void also, her oversoul.
okay. Well, what
And
about,
I don't know, it's like when really highly evolved consciousness returns into the void, it's like, I don't know, it creates like this perfect energetic loop, or like it's just the way that it is.
wow,
They
okay.
have to go back to the void eventually.
What about Toth?
So Thoth is not ready to go back into the void
Why?
because Thoth is like a simulation, actually.
Okay.
Thoth is a highly evolved consciousness that has been integrated with Gaia simulation. That's what I'm seeing.
Okay.
And therefore, Thoth as a consciousness will always be tethered to the ascensionary pathway on Gaia planets. And
Okay.
for that reason, Thoth cannot fully return to the void because Thoth is a simulation, like a
Okay.
master simulation.
All right. So, okay, got it. Why does he go by three?
Okay, okay. So there is an aspect, a spark of the Thoth consciousness that is not a simulation. That is of like, okay, and what I'm seeing, that spark of Thoth is part of an oversoul. That oversoul is massive, and it has many beings other than Thoth. And that being will eventually enter the ascensionary pathway, and it will merge with the void. So the being we know as Thoth or three
Uh-huh.
will eventually come into that ascensionary pathway and merge with the void. And three will eventually come to Gaia.
Okay.
So Thoth is also a simulation, but there is a being that is more connected to three that will incarnate
Okay.
and also evolve.
What about the gray extraterrestrials? I heard that they are trying to get back into a physical body to experience the ascension. Is
They
this
are.
true?
They are also part of it.
How? Who are the grays exactly? I mean, I've heard they're
Okay.
us, they're another version of us. Are they like still?
Okay, so what I'm seeing is that there's like different lineages of the Greys, and the ones that are connected to us and to Gaia at this time. Okay, I'll just say this. For some
Yeah.
reason, I'm seeing they're Greys connected to Mars. to the Mars
Oh,
lineage.
okay.
And those greys that
Wait.
inhabited Mars at a certain stage were the old humans.
Okay, so wait. Okay. Will you tell
Yeah,
me more about this? So the Greys, one lineage of Greys, are
yes,
the
are
old
the
humans
humanoids
that,
that were on Mars.
and why did they go to Mars then as humans?
Okay, because it's almost like what I'm seeing is that the Greys were also like really highly evolved. They had like a unity consciousness, and they needed to enter Mars to descend their consciousness. So once they so Mars also has a simulation. Mars was also like a Garden of Eden paradise at one point. And then the Greys entered Mars, and it's similar like we experienced here on Earth. Mars had a fall, and that was always meant to happen. And those Greys actually had a descension through that pathway. And then they became humans that came to Earth. And
Okay.
those humans that came to Earth are still working with their gray families. So, you
I
know, like
s-
those abductions that happen with grays?
yeah.
And grays are still working with some humans, actually, like not just with abductions, but they actually have contracts they signed with humans and their families. Well, those families were the grays, or are them. They're just
Okay.
being humans temporarily.
So then, all right, say,
So they're actually, so what I'm seeing is that there is not a single abduction that has happened that has been outside of contract. The human might have forgotten for a while that they made contracts with their gray family because they did that to initiate the ascensionary pathway.
okay, but are they initiating the ascensionary pathway for themselves or for the Greys?
Both.
Okay.
Because so some grays came into human bodies, and that was a contract. Those who incarnated as humans agreed to be the subject, or like not the subject but the partners of the grays that didn't incarnate into human bodies.
Why?
Okay, let me tune in a bit more. You know, there was a person at our retreat in Lemuria that is one example, and that's Anna. Her family is of gray lineage, and she agreed to incarnate as a human to help her gray family. But let me just tune in a bit more.
Okay.
Like, why would they do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's the same. Okay, crazy. It's like the similar concept of the pedophile that we were talking about earlier. So with when the Greys, when some of them decided to incarnate into a human body, they agreed to have this experience with their Grey family where they would get abducted, they would get test like they would literally fall into an extreme fear pathway. And that fear pathway would disconnect them from source. And then they would have to find their way back to the light. And the gray families that did not incarnate into the human, they're also on that ascensionary pathway. It's like they share the experience through surrogate.
Okay. And okay, so what are the purposes behind the abductions? Like, don't they take DNA? They're trying to
Yeah.
recreate.
So there's several tasks attached to the abduction. Um, on one hand, it's literally to trigger that level of fear in the being. I know that sounds really crazy and counterintuitive, but it's really hard to create a simulation that triggers that much fear in a consciousness. So on one hand, it's to like initiate this dissension through fear. And then it's also to test out what that fear is doing. So it's like
Mm.
literally, it's like a test lab. It's like they're testing what human emotions do to consciousness. It's almost like a test lab for what human emotions can do.
What can human emotions do?
Okay, so emotions that exist through the human consciousness in planets like Gaia and other ascensionary planets like Mars and stuff. Like so that okay, emotions can do so fucking much. So excuse my French
Oh,
here.
I don't care.
It because okay, so emotions can expand the multiverse. So emotions can create new octaves of frequency. And those new octaves of frequency can literally expand our universe. It can like make our universe get bigger and bigger and bigger through energy because it creates new octaves, like new, imagine a piano has so many notes. Well, what happens on these planets through emotion is that they can literally create whole new musical systems with new notes,
Oh, wow.
which means that it literally can expand consciousness as a whole. Like imagine God expanding through these
Wow.
new frequency, these new octaves. It's like movements that couldn't happen before can now happen because consciousness experienced emotions in a certain way on these planets,
Okay.
on these in these simulations.
So interesting. Okay, wow. All right.
And
So,
emotions are also the building blocks of creation. So you know the akasha?
yeah.
Well, when we experience new things on earth, we are literally adding whole new chapters into the akasha.
Wow. Okay. Why does it seem so hard for people to manifest and to like heal themselves then?
Because we're missing the point entirely. Okay, so we are coming into a time now where we have to let go of everything we have been taught and everything we believe. Because what we believe is all based on separation consciousness. Like everything we learned was based on the dissension, like literally us becoming dumber and dumbing our consciousness down.
Right.
And therefore, we actually see darkness as a bad thing. But the truly evolved souls understand that when we disconnect ourselves from source temporarily through a simulation, that the fruits and the expansion and the treasure that we can gain from that is like it's infinitely it's such a big gain from a temporary experience of what we call darkness. And sorry, what was your question again? Because I
Oh,
totally went
just
off topic.
fascinating. No, I have like a million questions. I forgot what I just asked, but oh
Um,
yeah, why is it so hard for us? You said we have
oh
to get rid of our
yeah, why
belief
is it so
system.
hard? Okay, the immediate answer to that is it's not hard.
How
We
do we
are
do it?
master manifestors and we are manifesting hell on earth together. We are literally manifesting things like diseases in our children, in our family line. We are manifesting that. All of the complex systems that we have on earth that are like generations old. Well, we are manifesting and we are still supporting that through our
Okay.
energy and our emotions and our beliefs. So we are collectively manifesting all this shit still.
Okay.
So
So will it,
we are manifesting. We just aren't doing it consciously.
Okay, well, say you want to consciously manifest and heal yourself. What
Okay, so
do you need to
that
do?
that is the most important teaching for people right now because no one is manifesting consciously. Not many. There are a few, including reptilians, but most of the majority are not manifesting consciously. Number one, we have to clear our beliefs that of old. So if we have any fear-based beliefs, we have to completely clear them from our system.
How do you how do you do that?
Okay. So number one, people need to like engage in everyday practices now that are like it's like an internal boundary system. So if old thoughts are coming to you, these thoughts are basically in a loop with old emotions. And those like thoughts and emotions are acting like chemical loops inside of us.
Okay.
And we are addicted to those chemicals.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we're really addicted to is these chemicals from these old memories and emotions and thoughts. Now, in order to starve those loops, or in order to like literally end them, energetically complete those loops, we have to engage in an everyday practice of clearing our mind of our thoughts and also going into our body to clear all of those imprints from our chakras. Because within our chakras, especially our heart chakra, we are literally storing memories that now need to be cleared. And those memories hold an energetic imprint that are keeping us stuck in those loops.
Wow. Okay.
So we need to clear those imprints, those energetic, like you could even call them like stamps in our like they're like energetic um yeah, they're like footprints and we have to clear our body of those footprints.
Like any regular clearing exercise, like I could probably make one for people.
Yes, so like a clearing exercise that brings people similar to Dr. Joe Dispenza
Uh-huh.
and the blessings of the energy centers. You need to just bring people into their chakras and clear those imprints from the root chakra up.
Okay.
Because, okay, from the root chakra, the root is where we keep all of those old imprints. And so
Okay.
is the sacral, so is the solar plexus, so is the heart, so is the throat. You need to help bring people into those chakras, like literally bring their awareness into them to simply just be aware. Like it's almost like just bringing awareness right into the chakras. And by doing that, they are literally, because that awareness is pure consciousness. It's like the higher self. So the higher self, when you bring the higher self into the chakras, it will just naturally do the work. It will clear all the imprints.
Okay. Wow. And then okay, so then what do you
And
do?
most importantly, the heart chakra. Because the heart chakra is storing the most imprints.
Oh,
More
wow.
than more than the brain.
Wow. Okay, so you clear the imprints and then what do you do if you want to manifest
Okay,
or heal?
so it's like a three-part process. You have to clear the subconscious mind, which means the body and the chakras, of all those old chemicals, the thoughts and the emotions that are old.
Okay.
And then and then this is the second part. You have to do a belief inventory to see on what all your thoughts like because all our thoughts that we think right now that come into our mind,
Uh-huh.
they are based in these old beliefs and those have to be cleared.
Okay.
So the thoughts that we think have to be cleared. And um, to do that, there's different approaches. So what, like one approach could be like to do guided meditation so that people are like literally aligned with their higher self. Because
Okay.
when people are like Ilana during the session, when you're aligned with your higher self, you're not thinking the old thoughts.
Right.
So you have to find a way to help people stop thinking the old thoughts.
Okay.
And when they stop thinking the old thoughts, the new thoughts from the higher self needs to come in. And the new thoughts have to come in through our connection to our crown and star chakras. It has to be connected through our six, seven, and eight chakras.
Okay.
So we have to get people to stop thinking the old thoughts because those are outdated and the frequency is very low. And then they can start channeling new thoughts through their higher self.
Okay. And then what?
And that's it.
Okay,
So
that's
if
thank you.
people literally clear the imprints from their chakras, stop thinking old thoughts, and align themselves to their higher self, they literally can now become master manifestors and they can access superhuman abilities.
Ooh, cool. I'm gonna make something for people.
Yeah, and so basically what you're helping them do is clear all out the old conditioning so that they can now become a vessel for the new energies.
Okay. Cool. Thank you
And
for
that's
that.
literally all they need to do.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Um, is our planet Gaia, is it really going through a pole shift?
Yes.
Okay. What can we expect?
So eventually there will be a reverse of the southern and northern poles. So like it's like the electric, it's like the magnetic, it's like what will eventually happen is that when north and south switch, the whole planet will go into an ice freeze. But that isn't going to happen for a while.
Like how long?
So I'm seeing that the poles will flip. And honestly, I'm seeing it could be anywhere from 100,000 to 1,000,000 years from now.
Well, then what's happening right now with the pole shift?
So what's happening now is not the magnetic pole shift. What's happening literally right now is that Gaia's grid has now reached a whole new octave of frequency. And that frequency now supports, um, it can now support energy from the central sun to come through now Gaia's orbit, come through her field. So really what we're seeing in the next, 100,000 years is like basically we're going beyond Kali Yuga and we are now, it's like we're graduating into the next level of consciousness here on Gaia.
What about all like like the spraying in our skies, whatever
Oh,
um that stuff and the sickness of people having like the crappy poison that we're ingesting. What about all of that and the
right.
corruption?
Yeah. So, okay. So basically, what's happening now is that because Gaia's grid has now been almost like anchored into a higher frequency. So Gaia's core grid, which means her energetic field, is now vibrating at a higher consciousness. That now means over the next little while is that that higher frequency that is now being anchored into Gaia, and it will continue to be anchored more and more now. Starting this year, it's going to anchor that higher frequency. And what that means is that the lower energies that we needed, like all the implants and all that stuff we put into Gaia, to engineer her descension,
Hmm.
will now be leaving her system. And that means that it's going to be messy and chaotic for a little while because what we're going to see is the collapse of the old
Okay.
energetic system.
Okay.
It's
Well, what
almost
about
like someone healing from an illness.
okay. What about like the corruption in the government? Like, what about that?
Well, so
Will that
yeah, I mean, what we're going to see over the next, like, what I'm seeing is like 2 to 3 decades is a very interesting polarity, like a magnification of polarity. So we're going to see more people ascend on Gaia than we have ever seen so far.
Wow, okay.
So what does that mean? That means our grid will become even more powerful because people will literally ascend while still being in their human bodies, which means that they are going to be extra powerful nodes on Gaia's grid. And the new children coming in are literally going to upgrade the scalar lattice of Gaia. So what that means is that Gaia's hardware and her software is literally going through a major update, like a major update. And what that means is that the darkness will also intensify. So what that all that means is that all the holes in our system, all the things that are false, all the things that were lies, all the things that are not of this higher frequency will reveal itself.
Wow,
And
okay.
as it reveals itself into the light, it will collapse and dissolve. But the way we're going to see this isn't going to be pretty necessarily from our linear perspective.
Okay, wow. What about places like Greenland? Is that really like a place that helps anchor in the frequency, stabilizes the earth or no?
Okay, let me see here. Yeah, because I remember during the retreat, we were asking about the solar discs. And
Yeah.
I actually see there's six on Gaia. There's one in the North Pole and one in the South in Antarctica.
What is a solar disk?
And a solar disk is like literally an accumulation of energy within Gaia's grid or her energy field that is compatible with the central sun. It's like literally the wireframe that we have on Gaia now that is supporting the increase of light coming from the central sun. So it's like these solar disks together, the six create this like energetic frame that can capture the light from the central sun and store it
Okay.
in the grid. And so I'm seeing Greenland is not that far from the northern solar disk. And it has some of the energy cascading onto it. Just the northern part, though.
What do you mean?
It's like there's a
So,
part of Greenland that is storing really high frequency light. Like, but I'm seeing that it's storing it in its ice sheets. Uh,
why?
what was your question again about Greenland?
Well, like, does it help stabilize the planet? Like, why does it store
It
this?
is. It does.
How?
Yes, it is. It's helping to stabilize the shift, actually, in a big way.
Okay. Well, what is the purpose of wanting to take over Greenland?
You know what's so weird? It's like Greenland is the and not just Greenland, but like the northern Arctic as
Uh-huh.
well. But the Greenland is like a special place because of all of the high frequency light it has.
Oh,
And I
wow.
feel like the reason they're actually trying to capture Greenland is not just because of the water. Because in a 3D way, Greenland has a lot of water, and geographically, it kind of creates, territory boundaries. But actually, the group that's really trying to capture Greenland is really part of the volunteer team that's helping to ensure that the ascension pathway will not be tampered with.
Wow. Okay.
It's like
Wow.
they need to make sure Greenland is restored, like it's not tampered with because there is important central sun energy that is anchoring there. It's like they're going to even create headquarters there eventually.
Headquarters for what?
It's like for the team of us that are ensuring that the longer term ascension energy that will unfold on Gaia in the next million years will unfold in its proper way. And therefore now we have to properly anchor the we have to like secure all of the areas that the solar discs are in.
Okay, wow. And the solar disks are just like energy from the central sun, right?
Like that's part of it. It's like the wire frame, and it's like a generator that can store that energy from the central sun. And we're storing it in increments because it's like a chemistry experiment. It's like we can't let too much light in all at once, so we have to like incrementally increase the amount of light that that generator that grid is storing.
Okay, wow, okay.
And
Wow.
so it's almost like our team. I don't know, when I say our team, there's like a whole group of galactic councils and beings from all around the universe that are actually involved in this project.
Wow, okay. So interesting.
And so the solar discs, I just want to locate them because they're actually very important. There's one in Antarctica. There's one in the North Pole. Uh, there's one in China. There's one in the Middle East, there, right there, in Egypt area, in Northern Africa. And then there's one in the Americas. It's almost like I am seeing like there's the solar disk like in that archip like where Costa Rica and Peru, like that area too.
Okay.
Okay, so one, two, three, four, five. I don't know what the sixth one is. I don't know. Somewhere.
So what like okay, so the can you like well I heard I mean do people want to acquire them because they know
Yeah,
they're
they
there?
will be. They will be. So, like, for example, Donald Trump is wanting to get Greenland.
Yeah.
Well, they will continue doing that. You know what? Like, the team that Donald Trump works for is not what we think.
What is it?
Because I'm tuning into Donald Trump. And yes, he is part of the team that was put in place to instigate the collapse in one sense. But he's actually working for the main team that I've talked to you about earlier with the Lyrans teaming up with reptilians and teaming up with archangelic beings. Well, there's that team that put together a team for Gaia that is overseeing this process happen. And Donald Trump is one of the people working for that team where his department is actually um, like him and his department is actually working with the team that is it's almost like they're there to mitigate the extent to mitigate the chaoticness of the collapse because they
Oh wow.
always knew that a collapse was going to happen when Gaia's grid reached this new frequency. They always knew that this was going to happen, that there would now be all of this old energy that needed to be dissolved, which means a collapse of our current systems. And so there was actually teams put in place to mitigate that collapse.
Wow.
And
So
Donald Trump is.
is he aware of this?
Yeah, yes and no. They had to appeal to his human self. It's almost like Donald had to agree to this plan, right?
Wow.
But his higher self had already agreed to it even before he incarnated.
Wow. Okay. So
Shoot, I have
interesting.
to pee. Is it
Oh, go
okay?
for it. Yeah, of
Okay, I'm
course.
gonna.
Second. Okay. Um, okay. So many questions.
So, the team that Donald Trump works for is actually the same reptilian group that works with the traffickers and the enslaved children. And on one hand, we think they're evil, but see, that's the thing is that they're not in the bigger picture.
wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so interesting. Wow. Okay.